Okay, so what's up, guys? This is Feedback here, and as promised in my previous video, I mentioned about I'll be doing a theory crafting or a short analysis of Nahida's kid, because Nahida is like the then our Dendro Archon that is going to release in Genshin Impact version 3.2. So So in 3.2, we already know that Nahida is confirmed to release. So so what am I going to talk about like in this video today is I'll be doing some theory crafting on Nahida, and I'll be also explaining about how she actually works, like what she does and what is her kit and where her potential actually is. So um So 3.2 Nahida, so she is a Dendro Element Catalyst, and her role for me now is a sub DPS and also a support. It's very hard for her to be a DPS unless she is a C6, just like other Archons, or maybe something like that. Okay. So about her stats, she ascends with EM all the way to level 80 ascended and up to 115. So for her talent priorities, about the weapons and artifacts, I'll talk about it in the video later at the bottom of this list. So I'd like to talk about her talent priorities. So what does her talent um like which one should you upgrade first? So for me, I recommend you to upgrade her skill or burst. You can consider this to yourself, just value yourself, which one is more preferable to your playstyle. Meanwhile, her normal attack kit, I suggest you not to level it up too high, or you can just choose not upgrade it to save more materials, or you can just level 8 or level 9 it. So for her talents, so basic attack, charge attack, plunge as usual, the normal, like a normal style, just like other catalysts. So for her elemental skill, so her elemental skill scales on elemental mastery and attack percentage. So means that you can build her either elemental mastery or you can build her attack percentage. So there are two states of her elemental skill. So one is when you tap. When you tap, she deals AoE danger damage around her and marks opponents with the Seed of Skanda. And when you hold, you are able to select multiple enemies, up to 8 if I'm not wrong. Oh yeah, before I continue further on, I forget to say that all of these data, theory crafting and analysis are all based on beta data. So it may subject to change when version 3.2 comes in, or even or maybe even furthermore changes that will like screw up this. So when Nahida is official release, I'll just like make a short run through or just explanation on her. So when she holds an elemental skill, she's able to select multiple enemies up to, to up, up to 8 enemies. Okay, so she's able to select multiple enemies up to 8 enemies, and she also deals damage to selected opponents when you release the button skill. And she also marks the enemies with the Seed of Skanda. So what is the Seed of Skanda? So Seed of Skanda is like a green mark you leave on the enemy for like 25 seconds, which is actually really, really long, like similar to Raiden's E, yeah, which is super long. It's even longer than Zombie Shield. So what does this Seed of Skandar do? It links or chains enemies around each other marked with Seed of Skandar. And when you trigger reactions, or when the Seed of Skandar takes damage from Dendro cores, including reactions like Hyper Bloom Burgeon or whatever, they will unleash the Tri-Karma Purification. So the Tri-Karma Purification, what does it actually do is it deals Dendro damage to opponents, including those who are linked together, and it can be triggered at most once in a certain amount of time, which is 2.5 seconds, also known as ICD. So means that you only can proc the damage like on a single individual target every 2.5 seconds. So this skill is more to like a sub DPS skill, like or off-field dendro damage and dendro application skill. Keep in mind that for from what I assume, this skill is this skill have individual ICD on individual opponents. So means that for example you have an opponent A and you have opponent B. When you proc the tri-karma purification on opponent A, they will start 2.5 on the opponent A itself. Meanwhile B opponent B, if you didn't proc it, it's totally fine, I guess. So next is her elemental burst, which is a 50 energy cost. So let me make a really clear statement that her elemental burst does not apply any dendro application. Yes, it's just a plain buff from what I saw on the data and stats itself. It's just a plain buff of her own for her own skill. Okay, buff characters based on elemental types of teammates in your party. Actually, it's not buff characters. It's more like buff her own elemental skill. I should change this. Buff her own elemental skill based on the types of teammates in your party. Okay, so there are three types of buffs you can obtain in like in your like according to the elemental type in your party. So for the first one is Pyro. So what does the Pyro do? If you have a Pyro teammate in your party, the the elemental burst of Nahida will increase the damage of the trap Karma Purification, which technically means just increasing the elemental damage of the like the Sea of Skandha Trap Karma Purification thing. And Electro will reduce the time interval of Tri-Karma Purification. This is yeah, means instead of 2.5 seconds, you can proc it even faster, like 2 point something or 1.9 seconds. I remember it's 1.9 when you full stack it. I will explain later. Okay, so Hydro, if you have Hydro teammates in your party, it will extend the duration of the Shrine of Maya, which is the ulti and Elemental Burst. Okay, so buffs will be affected by the amount of elemental teammates in your party up for 2 for elements. So means that the effect of elemental the buff based on elemental teammates I mentioned to you just now can be affected by the amount of elemental types of teammates in your party. For example, if you have like two pyro like teammates in your party, you'll gain a better or a stronger effect of increasing the damage of your Trikama purification. This also in like applies to the other two buffs like the Electro and the Hydro buff. Yeah, that's technically how her ulti works. So besides that, there's also a passive. So the first is the level 20 Ascender passive, which is quite easy. When ulti is used, which is her elemental burst, active character within the ulti AoE area gains an EM buff. EM buff scales on the highest EM character in the team up to 20%. And I remember there's a cap limit like 200 EM if I'm not wrong. So EM buff skills on the highest EM means Nahida can just all in elemental mastery instead of just like focusing on crit damage, crit rate, and attack percent. Next is her level 60 ascended. So what does it do is every point of elemental mastery above 200 will give Nahida a 0.1% damage bonus up to 80% limit and a 0.03 crit rate bonus up to 24% limit to track how much purification. So this one is this passive talent here is more to like um to ask you to build more EM for Nahida. So like she can have better off feel like you high usage. So her passive talent that comes along with her is she allows the collection of harvestable items within a fixed AoE using your whole elemental skill. I forget to write here. And it also may have special effects on certain people or NPC. Yes. So it's quite fun. Like I seen it in beta server, like you can actually just like see what they are actually thinking inside their heart. Which is actually kind of interesting for this. But this one is actually the more useful one, like allows collection of harvestable items within a fixed AoE. Means you don't have to like spam your button anymore. All you need to do is like hold the E and collect all. Yeah. So next I'd like to talk about her builds. Okay. So all this build here is based on my own assumption. Uh, uh I'm just giving off like recommendations and what I think is good based on her beta data and beta leaks. So first we have weapons. Weapons are most preferable in EM elemental mastery or maybe DPS stats like crit damage or attack percent. Or you can have some energy recharge for her elemental burst since her elemental burst is like 50 energy, so probably her elemental skill may have a slightly lower particle produce like probability. So for examples, EM weapons are more for team and more for supporting them. So for 5 stars, we only have one for now, which is 1,000 floating dreams, known as her signature weapon, Blessing Slot. So what this weapon do is adds EM and buffs team based on the weapon passive and team elements. So different elements on your teams will provide like different buffs according to the weapon passive to the people who equip itself. And for 4 stars, there are also multiple choice. Like for 4 star, you have sacrificial fragments. Um, it adds quite a nice amount of EM, but the weapon passive is a bit sad. Yeah, because it refreshes elemental skill duration, but Nahida's elemental skill duration is like really fast. Like the cooldown is like 5 or 6 seconds only for tap and hold. So the weapon passive is a bit sad, but the main stat is makes up for it, I hope. So another 4 star is you can use the Wandering Even Star where you can get in the current weapon banner, the gacha one. But the chances are really low. So for those who have, you can just use it. For those who don't have, I will have other options later. So for for those who have 4 star wandering, I mean 4 star wandering star catalyst, you can just insanely stack EM on your Nahida, as this weapon like provides EM and converting the EM to like attack percentage and buffs teammates according to this attack percent here, like 30% of the attack here, and buff the whole team. So this one is more to like a 4 star support and a bit of DPS weapon. So another 4 star is the Mapa Mare, the really underestimated one that that I rarely see people use. Even my friend, they don't really use it. Like yeah, so Mapa Mare, what does it do? Like it adds a decent amount of EM, like only 100 something if I'm not wrong. But what's good about it is it has a higher base attack, like 565 or something, I forgot. And also the weapon passive buffs personal damage more, which means the weapon passive actually buffs elemental skill, which is actually good that for Nahida as an off-field sub DPS. So for those who don't do gacha and who don't have materials to craft, okay, so I mean you probably did some gacha, right? So there are also uh really cheap option I should say. So 3 star we have the Emerald Orb. This thing adds EM and increase attack when trigger bloom reaction. This is more for like a bloom reaction team. And 3 star you have Magic Guide, which adds like EM is it EM? Yeah, it's EM and with a really really sad passive. I don't want to mention about it. It's literally called Beam. So next we have crit stats weapon or attack percent weapon. So for this category, you are more on your damage focus instead of like helping our whole team. So for 5 stars, we have a lot of options like 5-star Memory of Dust adds the most attack percent in the game. Yep. With 608 base attack along with like 46.6% of attack, which is actually insane. However, the weapon passive is slightly sad as you need to like you need to have a shield character to like maximize the weapon passive. So it's a bit sad. But the first part, like the attack percent should make up like to cover this set weapon passive. So another 5-star catalyst we have is Skyward Atlas. So this Skyward Atlas has the highest base attack in the whole game as a catalyst, but lower attack percent added compared to Memory of Dust. But better weapon passive, like it adds 12% elemental damage, and it also creates a cloud thing that deals physical damage over time. So this is more to like uh, a slightly more balanced stats, I guess. So another 5-star is Lost Prayers, which adds a ton of crit rate. But however, the weapon passive can't be fully utilized as Nahida needs to go off field most of the time. So it means that the on field weapon passive might cannot be fully utilized, which is a bit sad unless you want to make her like on field DPS, then you probably can utilize it. And the last 5-star um for this is the Kagura's Rarity, which is Yaemiko's signature weapon. So the Kagura's Rarity, I personally really recommend it. Besides having an OP stats like 608 base attack with 66, is it 66.2 or 62.2? I forgot. Of crit damage, and the weapon passive is just insane. Like it adds a lot of damage and elemental damage bonus, so which is really good for Nahida who can like maintain the weapon passive. So if you don't have a 5-star, as of course we always have a 4-star replacement. So the 4-star replacement there are with Sith, Solar Pearl, Blackcliff, Agate, Eye of Perception, Wood Swan Eye, and that's all for the crit and attack weapon. So for 4 stars, we have Wit Sith. Um, yeah, this is a crit damage weapon, so you might want to balance your crit rate or something a bit. And what's good about this weapon is the weapon passive adds attack percent or EM or elemental damage. But to slightly proc this, you need some RNG to see which it lands on. Yeah, depending on the buffs you gain. So for Solar Pro, in my personal opinion, is the best 4-star crit rate catalyst. But however, it's not really F2P. You need to get it from Battle Pass. Yeah, which means you need to slightly spend some money, I guess. Okay. So another one is the Blackcliff Agate. It has I think the highest base attack for 4-star catalyst, if I'm not wrong, and also a good amount of crit damage as substats. But you may need to save up 24-star capital for this weapon in the shop, which is a bit hard for free-to-play players. So the another 4-star weapon you can get from gacha is the Eye of Perception. So the substats is like adding 55.1% attack, which is actually a lot. But however, it has a low base attack like 454, which is actually really really low. Okay, last one is the Old Swan Eye. So most players who join in version I think 3 no 2 point is it 2.4 or 2.5, like during the Enkanomiya, like the event, you can get this weapon for free, but those who didn't join during the time, you probably won't have this weapon. So what this weapon do is it has a high base attack with great substats, attack percent up to like 27.6, and also the weapon passive also fixes ER problems. So the weapon passive is using elemental skill gives you energy recharge for some time. Okay. So last we have ER weapons. So ER weapons give your Nahida energy recharge, and it's still usable in most situations. So for ER weapons, I have three big recommendations. So first is the Fruit of Fulfillment craftable, the Sumeru Catalyst. So what this thing is, it buffs EM when triggering reactions, but loses attack percent, and which is 24 EM per stack and 5% attack gone per stack, and up to 5 stacks if I'm not mistaken. So you will lose a total of 25% attack, and then you will gain like how much is it? 120 EM in total. So if you can't craft this, you can probably use the Hakushin ring. Craftable, it buffs EM when triggering an electro-related reaction. So it depends on whether can Nahida like trigger an electro reaction. So the last one is for bonus codex. You can get it from gacha. So it provides energy particles for teammates, but must be on field to proc passive. Proc passive, and you must crit. Okay. So this one is you need to like consider stacking a bit of crit for this. Okay, so last point is her artifacts. So artifacts are more preferable in elemental mastery or attack. Of course, attack or crit ratio also works, but just slightly the kit is wasted. So for the support type I recommended, of course, best in slot is always the 4-piece Gilder Dreams, as it adds EM and attack like optional based on your team elements type. And also 4-piece Deepwood Memories, like this can make her a support for other Dendro DPS or other Dendro damage output. So depends on this. For now we only have like Dignari or Traveler or Collei as Dendro. So hope like in future we will have an actual Dendro DPS like rumored Alhaitham or someone else. So 4-piece Tenacity is also usable, but the 2-piece is copium, but the 4-piece is really good as 4-piece Tenacity plain buff. For now, this is what I did on theory crafting and just plain analysis. I hope like the her elemental skill can actually hold the buff of the 4-piece Tenacity. So if you feel like it's hard to farm for 4-piece, you can have 2+2, which is 2-piece Wanderer plus 2-piece Gilder Dreams. As EM, it works really good on her. And next is damage type. Damage type is depends on personal preferences. For me, I probably won't build damage type. So for damage type, let's say a 4-piece Gilder Dream. Yeah, it stacks CM and adds attack percent, which also kind of adds damage. So also 4-piece Dendro set, which is the deep wood. So it also adds damage from the 2-piece, and 4-piece also buffs the damage a bit by decreasing Dendro resistance of the enemy. And also 4-piece Wanderer. Should I say it's on field DPS or on this point? And also 4-piece Shimenawa, which I put two question mark. I don't even know why. Okay, so others, if you don't have 4-piece, of course, you can use 2-piece Gladiator with 2-piece Echoes or 2-piece Vermilion or 2-piece Shimenawa or 2-piece Deepwood or 2-piece Emblem for ER, of course. Okay, so that's all I want to like. That's all I did and analyze about Nahida for based on her data now. So there are still a lot of like unconfirmed things and things here may be subject to change. So I hope this video actually helps you, like because a lot of people have been like misunderstanding Nahida's burst and how her kit actually works. Like a lot of people heard rumors like what Nahida's elemental burst will apply a lot of Dendro application, and I was like, and then I was like so fed up. I just decide to like do a total analysis of Nahida, and I'll just like make them understand this instead of like listening to rumors. I mean, in some way, it actually increases like the amount of dendro you apply using elemental burst, but you need like special you need under special circumstances or restrictions. So this is technically all I know about Nahida. So we will see more about what Nahida or how Nahida can be in the official release. So that's all for the video today. I will see you guys in the next video, and That's all. Peace.